Hey guys, this is Oshi, and today's pick a card is going to be about not a situation, but what advice you should or shouldn't give when you find yourself in a situation, in a specific one that will be connected to the cards that you're choosing. Because I was thinking about, what topic should I do? Because there was a feeling that I wanted to do a pick a card reading, and I was thinking about, some general messages or, something like that. But then the inspiration came when I needed it, and this is what I came up with because I don't think I've seen a lot of pick a card readings about this topic. So hopefully this will add to the pool of available videos and it will be useful. You can choose based on a card, and that's gonna be the only oracle card. I mean, out of these three, that's gonna be used in your reading. So, if you choose pile number one, you're only gonna get the questions oracle. If you choose pile number two, you're only gonna get the zombie oracle. And if you choose pile number three, then you're only gonna get the building relationships oracle. So, maybe that will help. I was thinking that would narrow down the question enough so that the pies are going to be distinctive. So this is one of those readings where if you pick multiple pies, it's probably because you need to hear something in those sections. So feel free to choose based on the text, or if you like picking, based on something else, I can show you some beautiful, hopefully it picks up. I'm thinking that this is a mosagite, but I only found these crystals and I have no idea. I haven't had the time to actually check them. So this is a greenish, mossish, but beautiful crystal for pile number one. I'll put it here so you can see the back of the card. This is another one that I'm not entirely sure, so I don't want to say, but it's beautiful. And that's pile number two. And pile number three is hopefully the camera picks it up. It's a beautiful sparkly blue one, and that's for pile number three. So please choose according to how you like to choose, and then timestamps and deck information is going to be in the description as per usual. Hopefully, like I said, this is useful, and see you in pile number one. Hello, pile number one. If you chose the questions oracle or this beautiful green crystal, then this is your reading, and I haven't shuffled, so let's pick your main. I don't even know yet, like area of the question or advice, to be honest. Okay, that's funny. Questions. So your main area is where you're supposed to be giving or not giving advice is about questions, and it's not just about as this doesn't mean that someone is going to ask you a question and you're going to reply. That could be the very simple explanation for this card, but it's more about, should you encourage questioning something, or should you tell someone to look for answers deep within themselves? That's what I'm picking up for this particular reading. But I will pull another one from the Harry Potter. I don't even know what this is. Magical meditation, because I kind of wanted to. Okay, we have identity and personal growth, which would be, that this makes sense. So for identity, it is not our abilities that show what we truly are, it's our choices. Yeah. Who's choosing for whom? Think back to the last major choice that you made. What were the circumstances, and how do you think the choice fits into your understanding of your identity? And with the personal growth, we have a very long one. Blah, 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 blah. What obstacles have you overcome in your life, and how did they shape your growth? Okay, interesting. Because, the topic is where should you give advice or you shouldn't give advice. So it's definitely, if it's not, I didn't think about framing it as taking advice, so I'm just gonna go with the give advice section. It could be something like there's a young person, not necessarily as in age, but younger than or less experienced than you are, who will come to you and seek advice, ask questions about a certain topic that relates to, very well to figuring out their identity. And, these questions, figuring them out will add to their personal growth. At this moment, I'm leaning towards this is a situation where you should gently guide maybe someone, but definitely not be a very firm yes or no, because you realize and recognize that this is all about the other person. And even though you would want to give advice because you have experience, whatever this is talking about relating to that, but you already also know that this is something that people need to experience for themselves, you can guide them towards places that they can find answers, but your place is not replying these questions. Your place is not giving them the answer. Your place is just guiding them so that they can find it for themselves. So right away, the first pile is obviously, should you give advice or not? It's kind of like in the middle. And I kind of like that. Oh yeah, Six of Cups. Six of Cups is usually related to, nostalgia and childhood innocent. And on the original one, the illustration is a younger person giving a cup to a smaller one. So it kind of still fits, because these squirrels are sharing what they have from their already existing stash. You could look at this as the red squirrels are sharing it with the gray ones, but they are not telling them what to do with those flowers. It's just, hey, this is an option. And oh, look at that, the Hierophant. Hierophant is the teacher card. So yeah, be the teacher, a wise teacher. And the wise teacher is not giving you the replies. The wise teacher is allowing you to find them, because it's not just about not being responsible for what they came up with as a result of your advice, like how, if you make the choice for them, then you're pretty much responsible for the outcome, because you take away their ability or their option to choose. But if you're a wise owl, a wise teacher, you know that, if you lay out these options, they're gonna pick what's the best for them. And you're letting them do that not because you don't want to be responsible, but because you know how important making the choice is. That sometimes finding these questions and the answers to them on your own is more important than what you actually, what the answer is. Sometimes the process of asking questions is more important than getting the replies. And like I said, it's kind of feel like it's a younger person who's probably, going to be worried and exhausted. Or you can be, like there's sort of anxiety when you feel like you're not entirely sure that you did the right thing, because you want to help and you're afraid of doing it instead of them. Like like a parent with a child, you have to let them grow and have to experience pain as well, and that can be very anxiety provoking, but you know that, you know, in the long run they will benefit from you not giving advice in the most typical way. Let's see, I was thinking about, you know, like pulling some light forest cards, so to speak, and then some dark forest cards to see what comes up. Okay, we have the Empress and the Fool. And how I feel right now is that the Empress is you. The Empress is someone like, there's a book, I hope you can see that. There's a book here and sparkles are coming up, which can be, you know, fairy lights or ash and embers. But, you know, the Empress is someone who is already in a position where they are sure what they want, not gender specific. It's just this is the more nurturing, more reclusive energy, you know, because the king side of the coin is the one that will take action, will tell you what to do and expect you to follow their lead. The queen and the Empress is all the queens together, is someone who will, you know, create the circumstance where you can learn. And I definitely feel like that you are this Empress. And the Fool is the other person, and sometimes you have to let that person go and fall off cliffs and whatever, because they don't know where they are heading exactly. You definitely don't know where they are heading. All you can do is trust that this is what it's supposed to happen, and that they have everything that they need to succeed. So this is definitely those teacher, student, or older, wiser friend, younger, you know, less experienced person, parent-child combination. So look for something like that. That this is, you know, in that situation, this is the advice for you. This is how you should navigate the situation to be the best beneficial person for the other one who's seeking help. And one final card for advice or extra special message. Oops, that's too much. Let's get to, okay, so pleasure and potential. I like that. Pleasure is all about allowing yourself to experience pleasure. And if you look at these two cards, the pleasure kind of looks like the Empress with the deer and all the abundance, and maybe a tiny bit of the High Priestess. And the potential is the Fool. So, you know, again, in a most simplistic way, there's potential for experiencing the pleasurable side of life if you let this person follow their heart. And that will also give you this opportunity, because maybe if you're not trying to solve someone else's life, you will realize that, you know, you have more time for yourself as well, and you can take your own advice and seek something just for the fun of seeking it. I'm kind of getting that for you. Okay, this was very interesting, and I hope this is useful. Please do let me know, because I really enjoyed it, and hopefully it's useful and helpful for you as well. If you have any questions, please do let me know. You can find all the information about decks, and you know, if you're curious about what I use, just ask in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, pie number 2. If you chose the Zombie Oracle or this, I don't even know, kind of feels like some sort of stone, but it's crystal for sure. But it's beautiful. Then this is your reading, and let's pick one, hopefully, oracle for the main theme of your reading. The first pie was very interesting, so I'm quite curious how this will turn out. Oh, and Okay, you get chaos with that beautiful flying off the shelf card motion. So this is Zombie Oracle Season 1, which is more about, you know, when the zombies are upon us and how we deal with it. And let's pull, because I'm figuring out where and when this should you give advice or should you not give advice situation came up, and it definitely indicates a period or a moment of your life and the life of those people around you that you're in a possible or potential place to give advice to, is when things are all up in the air and there's chaos and you don't know, don't really know what to do, they don't know where to get information. So my first initial reaction is to say that your role is going to be the one to step up. And we have resistance, to step up and lead. Okay. Relationships and resistance. Let's see what the resistance card is. And you can read this. I don't want to blah blah blah. It's too long. Okay, have you ever been accused of something you didn't do? What did you do to try and prove your innocence, and was it effective? Interesting. But you know, it can talk about a situation when, you know, people are not seeing clearly, so they are, you know, lashing out that, oh, this person said this and this person said that, and then someone with a reasonable mind and, you know, with logic has to come in and say that, hey, let's take a breather, let's figure things out, because something is not right here. We don't know what actually is happening. And with the relationship we have you ever been jealous of a friend or loved one? How did that affect your relationship? How did can you work to overcome? Look at the Z. That typo is perfect for the zombie oracle. Okay, so I would say that this could very well and very easily be a situation where one of your friends or your friend's partner or, you know, boyfriend, lover, whatever, is accused of cheating, and people are all, you know, like everybody has an opinion, and, you know, it's one of those situations where people are taking sides and they believe everything when they first hear it. And what I'm getting from this is that you need to be the one who won't just pile on these accusations or, you know, believes that whatever happened. I'm not saying it didn't, I'm just saying that you need to be the voice of reason. So I'm not saying look forward to this situation, because this is not fun. But when you find yourself in between people who are saying different things, that, hey, this person did this and that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, it can be colleagues, for example, that one of them says that, hey, the other person is not doing their job properly and they screw things up, and the other person is like, no, that's not true, and the other person is not working well, and blah 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 blah. You need to be the one in the middle and be like, okay, let's try to figure out where this miscommunication is coming from, why these people are so mad at each other, what was the reason why all this chaos broke out, because there's always a reason. And then calmly assess the situation, because the other people who will be involved, and I'm definitely getting, you know, more than one people, it can be a little bit on the drama queen side, because the Queen of Wands is a very, very passionate and fiery person, someone who's ready to protect everything and everyone, that they love, and they not but you know, they sometimes overdo it because they can only see from a limited point of view, and that's their own. You know, their truth is the truth, which is obviously not true. So there's a lot of passion, a lot of emotions, and yes, what you need to do is stay on the calm side. Ace of Swords. Yes, perfect. The Ace of Swords is all about getting an aha moment, you know, like figuring things out, seeing the situation for what actually is, and you're the reason, or you can be that sword that will cut through the bullshit, will tell people what it is, send them into their corners to figure things out. Obviously, always try to convey these messages in a way that you're not hurting people, because you know, swords can be very sharp and you can accidentally deliver the truth in a way that would eliminate someone completely, and that's not useful. You need to be wise and figure out how to say what the other person needs to say. Yeah, because there's gonna be some feeling isolated and feeling alone when you're doing this, and that's because unfortunately, you know, when people are expecting you to be on their side because they are passionate about their truth and their side, and you know, they want you to be on their side because they think that they in the right, and you say, hey, let's listen to the other person, and maybe what they said over there, that made sense, and you know, like you try to be diplomatic about things. Some people, especially someone with a passionate Queen of Wands energy, has a tendency to shut you out. But you know, if you first of all, you shouldn't not do this. Oh, that was a beautiful sentence, I know. You should still just be the sword of truth, and just remind yourself that this is not a long-term thing. You know, it's a temporary feeling isolated, getting shut out place you can find yourself in. But as soon as things cool down, because people are start thinking about what the advice, you know, the advice you gave, most of them will be reasonable enough to see that you were coming from a place of love, for a place of care, and a place of justice, to be honest. And you had the right, in a way, to say how you felt, because those were your feelings, and it's important to acknowledge and work with everybody's feelings in this situation. So, you know, if you find yourself left out or alone, just remind yourself that, yeah, this Ten of Swords is not forever. And yeah, perfect, the Sun. Ten of Swords is definitely an ending. Sometimes it's a really, really hard place to be, and it doesn't necessarily have to talk about you. It could be the other person, you know, one of those sides feeling that they've lost everything. Maybe they cheated, you know, because this is a general reading. For some, it's gonna be that they cheated. For some, that they didn't. You have to figure out which is what. And for that person, if they are the cheaters, for example, things are gonna feel like they ended and everything is over, and you know, never gonna be happy again kind of feeling. But we have the Sun, which indicates that not just getting clarity on the situation finally, but you know, it's things are gonna get much more harmonious afterwards. So from chaos we're moving into harmony, but there are steps to take, and those steps are not necessarily an easy, you know, path. But your role, that's what you should focus on. Your role in this mess is the guide. You're not supposed to take sides. Sometimes that's gonna be very hard. And yeah, but give your advice. For you, you should give the advice that you seek when you're able to take away or out the emotion from the situation, because you're outside of it enough to be able to be more objective than the people who are directly involved. Okay, so let's pull one more advice card. I said one. Decks are like, oh yeah, you're finally using us. Let us come out to play. But nope, I just need one. I just need the one. Okay, pure. I love that. Purity. Purity is all about making sure that your intentions are pure, that you're coming from a place where you're not gaining anything by saying what you need to say. Because that's the only way that you can move forward and help people with this very chaotic and sticky and not very, very good situation. But you're there, and you know your intention. If your intentions are pure, you really just want to help, things will turn out for the better, which is great. So yeah, give that advice. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Those all help my channel, and check out my other videos, my other channel, because this is my second reading channel, and you can find me more on my main channel. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. See you in the next one. Bye. Hello, pie number 3. If you chose this, hopefully, I mean, it's too late to show you, but beautiful sparkly dark blue stone, then this is going to be your reading. And your pile is the Relationships Oracle. This is the pocket edition. There's a regular sized one as well, which is the same size as the Zombie Oracle, but your card is Soulmate. Okay. And Friendship. Oh, I kind of want to have both. It kind of feels like the advice you need to give is connected to... Interesting that love comes up. I don't know, I wasn't expecting it. But soulmate, soulmate doesn't necessarily mean a love or a romantic relationship. It can mean a friendship, because some of our friends that we come across in our lives are soulmates, because we have things to work together. But we have a relationship and a personal growth card for this pile as well. So this is a very popular topic, I guess, for the collective right now. So relationships, we have, if you could have a moving portrait of anyone in your life, who would it be? Give them a call today, or if you're unable to speak with them directly, write them a letter. So connecting to someone, reaching out, figuring out who is the most important person in your life, or one of the most important persons in your life. Okay, so because the reading is all about giving advice or not, this is not about, you figuring out someone is a soulmate or friendship. It's more about someone is coming into your life, and there could be two things. They try to figure out if you're their soulmate, and maybe thinking, on a more romantic side. And so to speak, I wanted to say that, putting your portrait up on that wall, signifying that you are, important for them, but you're feeling this is, you're just feeling this is a friendship more like, and not that, and you have to figure out how to give an advice for them to deal with this, because we have personal growth as well. Honestly, don't you two read? For Hermione Granger, there's almost nothing that can be solved by consulting a book. So yeah, books can be very, maybe bibliomancy can be a good way to give advice. For yourself, I kind of feel like I really didn't want to do this to be all, giving advice for yourself, but I kind of feel like this pile is about that. I mean, I'm trying to not read it as as one, but it kind of coming the information is coming in that way. In fact, there are many instances throughout the films where I'm sorry, I'm a book snob, where Hermione's bookishness helps her friends save the day. Yeah, in the books as well. She even carries a huge stack of books in her enchanted bag when she, Ron, and Harry go hunting for Horcruxes. Books play a huge part in how Hermione understands and interacts with the world. So, whatever. Okay, let's finish. Have you ever come across a book or books that had a strong effect on your life? What were they, and why do you think they affected you so much? Okay, so because we have the write them a letter and written words here as well, this could be a situation about someone that you're not in contact not real life, but in your in your personal day-to-day life. It could be someone that you know online, where you type more than you speak more. Very, very interesting. If it's about other people, giving advice for other people, it can be that they are coming for you because you might be a tarot reader for readings about, whether they found a soulmate or, is it just a friendship. And the advice for that is read the guidebook for the deck, because there is something for the cards that you're pulling. There are more, the guidebook has something in them that will help you get clarity quicker than if you just go with your usual interpretation. And to be honest, that's true for you as well. So if you do that, if you do a reading for yourself because you're trying to figure out if this person you're dealing with is a romantic partner or more or less. I don't like saying that friendships are less than romantic relationships, because they are not. It's just different. Or if you're trying to figure out that this friendship is, meant to come into your life as a soul contract or whatever, if you believe in those, that you have something to do with together, because sometimes we have those friendships that we can't let go for some reason. Yes, the Hierophant has books as well. It's a teacher you can get, or a student, depending on the card. But this particular one doesn't have a book, but I always imagine the Hierophant in a library, getting knowledge from books, which also could mean that the advice that you're supposed to give, let's just skip the whether it's you or other people part, because it's gonna be either or for people, because this is a general reading. But the advice you're giving is not necessarily something that you need to come up with. It's not new thing that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You have access to written word or ancestral knowledge, something that's coming from the past that you can actually rely on when you're giving these, oh god, wow, these advices. And I want to pull from the other one more. So High Priestess with a little parchment there. They can be, looked at as a pair. Both of them are relying on their intuition more. The High Priestess is more so, but it's definitely rely on your own intuition, those gut feelings that will tell you whether you're supposed to give an advice or not, and rely on that gut feeling when you're looking for the answer. As in, if you work with the tarot, for example, don't just pick up a deck that you're usually using. Allow yourself to think through which deck should be the best one that fits the situation that you're trying to get a clarity on, because there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be specifically something in the guidebook. And if you're, not a tarot reader, but you're, for example, watching pick a card readings, or you're going for advice for a tarot reader, first of all, take their advice seriously. Don't just shop around for readers and and go until you find someone who says what you want to hear, because that's not what you need to hear. That's always true. But when you're, like, I'm not telling you to spend money on it, because not all of us, a lot of us can't afford a personal reading right now. But what you can do is, when you watch a pick a card reading, for example, take time to actually see which deck they are using, because they might check the guidebook, or I don't know, they might give you a clue, or what you can do is even ask for people to like elaborate on those readings. Okay, we have a Knight of Pentacles and a Seven of Pentacles. Okay, whatever we're talking about. Okay, the Fool and the Page of Wands. Let's keep them together. So, this figuring out things side of the question is going to be a slow process, because we have Pentacles and some Wands, but that's later when you are already figured out. So in the figuring out things stage of this situation, you're called to not rush through it, because the Knight of Pentacles is the slow moving one, but it's also the one that will be reliable, that will carry whatever he needs to carry, or her, whatever, doesn't matter, not gender specific. But it's it's an energy where you're slowly making progress, and you have to give yourself that time to figure things out, because it's going to be an important one to figure out how this soulmate friendship connection is looking for you. There are like major arcana, so major, I'm not gonna say consequences, because that sounds like foreshadowing, or like woo consequences. It's just that this friendship, or even a romantic relationship, will play a huge part in your life, or in the other person's life who is asking for help. Whether is it when the relationship happens, or it's because it doesn't happen, you can't really see immediately. And that's what you need to take some time with the Seven of Pentacles, to do your best and then allow things to fall into their places. Because you can't reap a harvest if you don't plant things. But when you plant something, it's not gonna grow overnight. If it does, it's a folk tale, and that's a completely different situation. But what's important is that if you allow yourself and the other person, or whatever, do this work slowly but thoroughly, listening to the gut feeling, learning from other people's experiences and the books and the guidebooks and whatever, then there's gonna be a moment when you or that other person that you're giving the advice to have to make a choice, have to trust that the knowledge they accumulated is there to serve them, is there to guide them, and they need to take that leap of faith. And once they do that, things are gonna quickly pick up speed, because we have a Page of Wands, and a Page of Wands is, it's a fire sign, it's a fast burning energy, and it's also one that calls you to be open-minded and ready to learn, and just excited for this next stage that's coming. When you figure out what you want with this relationship, or you help figuring it out for someone else, they need to remind themselves that this relationship is coming in to add to their life. So enjoy the ride, so to speak. It's a very interesting reading. This is the most complicated one out of the three, I guess. It also feels very specific, which I always love. So comment down below if it resonates, because I love hearing that. And let's pull last card for I said one. very chatty cards we have today. Or this deck. This deck is really the one that is trying to come out more than once. Diligence, yes, Seven of Pentacles. Diligence is, you know, stick to the plan. And the plan right now is to allow yourself time to figure things out. Don't just think that the first answer is the good one, because it might be just a step forward and you still need to take 4 other steps to figure things out to find the answer. So patience. Patience is the key. There's a lot of keys here. There's a one giant, you know, golden one there. So yeah, patience is key, which it can be annoying, but it's called for. So don't try to rush into figuring this one out, because then you will just lose out and in a way that you will just run around in circles for longer. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope this is useful. Please like, comment down below, subscribe to all those things, check out my main channel, and see you in the next one. Bye!